our second half of BD Bol. We hope you had a good first half and had enough food from the cafeteria.
You know, India is a melting pot of cultures.
Our unity is born from our diversity. 1 million different communities and 1,000 different customs.
To best elaborate on our multicultural strength, we now have Sherebanu Yusuf, our oldest speaker today from grade 10, who's going to talk about
Her experience of wearing a Rida and how it shapes her as a person. A Rida is a Bohri Muslim dress.
So please give her your hugest cheer.
A friend once told me about the time she dressed up as Superwoman one Halloween and how she was approached by a couple who exclaimed, "Hey, we love your clothes. What a cool way to style that cape. And what an awesome costume." In response, she chuckled and replied, "This isn't a costume, but simply a more styled version of what I wear every day." Just like her, it's a common occurrence for someone to ask me, not just on Halloween, but all year round, the name of what I wear and why I wear it. A question that comes naturally to people from the curiosity of seeing something out of the ordinary. To answer this question is why I come here to you today, using this platform to share my experience of wearing a Rida. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sherebanu Yusuf. I study at BD Somani International School. I will be 16 in a month, and I am a practicing Dawoodi Bohra Muslim girl who wears a Rida. Now, while for some of you sitting in the audience, the sight of me in my particular clothing is an ordinary one, the person right next to you may not be so familiar with it. I'll take it slow. The Rida is a two-piece dress consisting of the pardi and a ghagra, and is the common attire worn by the ladies of my community. Now you must be thinking, hold up a minute. That's a lot of new words right there. How am I ever going to be able to remember this? Well, let's rewind and break it down further. The ghagra is a long pleated dress from one's waist to the ankles that much resembles its Indian counterpart. It is accompanied by the pardi, a hooded cape that covers both head and torso, all while leaving the face open. Together, these two parts make up my community's prescribed clothing that one is eligible to wear after the misak. Now the misak is a rite of passage taken by both young girls and boys alike once they begin to mature and reach puberty. One must swear by a series of oaths that describe the quintessential life to be led. It's your typical large-scale coming-of-age ceremony with a fancy dress and lots of relatives. Yet, what made mine so different was the complete and utter change in wardrobe that came with it. Sure, say that to another girl and she might just be jumping with excitement. I, on the other hand, wasn't so eager. Of course, I knew about the Rida from way beforehand, and it seems like it's been in my life forever, as I have seen my mother, her mother, and her mother's mother all wear it with confidence and clarity. Yet, never in my mind had I imagined the time when I would start wearing one. You see, I always associated it as something that I would do when I grew up, an adult thing, if I may. However, as the time drew nearer for me to wear one myself, I was a bit of a nervous wreck. It seemed like one of those moments when you know something's about to happen, but when it's finally your turn, things aren't so simple anymore. It's like the feeling before your first date, or first job interview, or the first time you drive by yourself, or the first time you speak on a platform such as BD Bol. The nerves and premonition and realization that it's finally happening drove me insane. For months leading up to my ceremony, I debated within myself whether I can or couldn't, whether I should or shouldn't, whether I wanted to or not. Day and night, my thoughts were just plagued with rhetorical questions and hypothetical situations and just horrifying scenarios. My thoughts? I can't wear a rida outside of a mosque. What will people say about me? They will think that I'm being judged into doing. They will judge me. They will think that I'm being pressured into doing so. What if they ask me why I wear it? What do I say? My mind had conceived it into this enormous thing that would have a dramatic effect on my life. The truth, it didn't. Yes, I will admit that in the beginning, the thought of me having to outwardly associate myself with what I believed in scared me a lot. I still remember my first day of school here at BD Somani and all the time I spent the day before preparing for it. Raise your hand up if you've ever practiced something in front of the mirror before the big day. Yes, well, that's exactly what I did. I wore my rida, stood in front of my dressing room mirror, and practiced. I practiced the way I would walk, the way I would talk, the way I would move my hands while explaining something, the way I would sit or slouch in class, the way I would say hi or hello or hey. I practiced the way I would answer to my name. I practiced the way I would respond when someone asked me about my clothes. I practiced acting confident in what I chose to wear. Chose. A word indicating choice. Something that people around me and I myself often tend to forget. But when I sat down and really thought about why I wear a rida, I couldn't quite nail it down. To gain a larger understanding of what my fellow girls felt about this, I reached out to my community and conducted a survey. From the respondents, 87% of them said that they wear their rida daily, and a very surprising 92% said that they wear it to their school or workplace, just like me. But when asked the question of why one wears a rida, the responses mainly stated things like, it's me acting upon what I believe in, or I feel safe and comfortable in it. Responses that I greatly understand and highly respect, but not those that I was looking for. So, taking some more time out to myself, I sat down and I thought. And I thought and thought and thought until I finally had my moment of personal enlightenment. I realized that to me, my rida is the symbol of my internal struggle with self. A long and very confusing journey of growing up that I guarantee each and every one of you in this audience has made or are still making. And it is the proof of me surviving and coming out of this as an independent, strong young woman who is only further empowered by what she wears. I find my rida to be liberating. And according to my survey, so do most. As you can see, the highest ranked feelings of what one feels while wearing a rida are confident, safe, respected, empowered, and free. Yes, I will admit, it does get a little tricky at times. And on the particularly windy day, I do end up looking like a balloon. But what's life without a few hiccups? Can I play sports in my rida? Yes. Do I enjoy fashion? Of course. These past 2 years, I have gone horse riding, played badminton, gone strawberry picking, participated in MUNs, traveled to cities, countries, the world, and not once have I thought that I can't do something because my rida won't let me. For me, it strips away materialism and encourages people to look at me not for what I am wearing, but for who I am. It allows me to focus on my mind and personality. And while all of this might sound like the idealistic answer, it is the truth. It forced me to ask myself the question, who am I? Something that to this day, I will forever be grateful for. To end with, I would like to share the words that someone very dear to me once told me. That change will only teach you how to say goodbye and how to say hello. So, when I leave the stage today saying goodbye to you, I also say hello to a world full of ordinary people doing extraordinary things to their choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherebanu, for such a mature talk today.